but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. Hello everyone, this is Martin Zender, back once again, coming to you from my laundry room. These are further unfoldings from the laundry room. This is no longer the Revelation series, but this is me just talking to you from my studio with various things that pop into my head. I'm calling this little, I can't call it a series, it's a show. I'm calling this show Return to Zender. Further unfoldings from the laundry room. You get it? Unfoldings. You fold the laundry? All right. We're on the same page, I see still. We haven't lost a beat, you and I, which I think is great. It's always that way with members of the body of Christ. How about Donald Trump? How about what's happening with the United States of America today? How about the opposition party who really don't want prosperity and they don't want success for Americans? Because this is what happens in government. This is what happens with big government. I'm going to draw a parallel between what's happening today in politics and what was happening in Jesus Christ's day in politics. Politics goes way back, ladies and gentlemen. And in Jesus Christ's day, the Pharisees, the priesthood, had built a system. They had built a system of power. And what do you know? They installed themselves as the power brokers. And they got to a point where they no longer existed to serve the people, but they existed to keep their own power. Yeah. They existed to remain entrenched in the seats of influences. A seat of influence, or influences, if you prefer the plural. The Pharisees loved lording it over the people. And in that day, a real rebel came along who was outside of the system, who threatened the system, who made every alarm bell in the system ring. There are birds, there are bells, and I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. Only in this case, Jesus Christ was the man who came along and set the alarm bells ringing in the Pharisaic camps. But the people flocked to Jesus Christ because he was an outsider and he spoke differently. And they said of Christ, this is so interesting, no one has ever spoken as this man has spoken. Why? Because he shot from the hip. Jesus Christ did. He was a straight shooter. He told them how it was. They had this instinct. They had this instinctive knowledge, the people of first century Judea, that their leaders were a pack of hypocrites, snakes, vipers, but no one dared say it. It took this little childlike man, the emperor's new clothes, to point out that the emperor was naked. Then everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Yes, the emperor is naked. We always knew it, but nobody had the courage to say it. I think you see the parallels I'm drawing with Donald Trump. Yes, I am comparing Donald Trump to Jesus Christ. As in the first century, thus also today, there's a huge thing built called the federal government. And it exists to preserve itself. The people that get into Washington, D.C., even though they have great intentions when they first go in there, they turn into self-serving monsters, and the system is much bigger than they are. They get sucked up into it. And I think the same thing was true with the Pharisees. They wanted to be good, God-fearing people, but they got in there. They got in the temple, and they saw those great walls, the great marble columns, and they had this rush of power. And they wanted to hold it, and they thought, this is kind of nice lording it over the people. We enjoy it very kindly. And they get sucked into it, and now they just want another day in paradise. That's all they want, and they forget all about the little people. And Donald Trump ran in the United States for the forgotten men and women. And I think he really actually means it. Of course he does. Some people are having the audacity to tell me that, Donald Trump is just part of the New World Order. He's installed in there by the powers that be to further their agenda. It's like, are you out of your minds? The elites, the mainstream, they hate him. They want him dead. They want to assassinate him. He was not supposed to happen. He was an anomaly. He screwed up the whole thing. Look what's happening now. Look at the exposure coming out in government. The Clintons are going down this year, 2018. It's all coming out that the Justice Department was corrupt. It wasn't Trump colluding with the Russians to win the election. It was Hillary colluding with the Russians and the United States Justice Department to ensure her victory, or in the case of an emergency, Donald Trump wins, to get him the hell out of the White House. Because what's a hillbilly, what's a pig doing in the White House? And they all think Trump is a pig. He's unmannered, unsocial, unrefined. And they said the same thing of Jesus Christ. This guy's from Nazareth, he's a hillbilly, he says wrong things. Eat my body, drink my blood. What? Before Abraham was, I am. Oh my God, Jesus Christ just needed a good PR man. Jesus Christ would have been tweeting like a crazy, telling the people crazy things, giving them the inside scoop, giving them his thoughts. He said, these are hard sayings, the disciples said. Who can hear them? People say the same thing about Donald Trump. Just shut up, Trump. These are hard sayings. Who can hear them? So what did Jesus Christ do when he was on earth? Well, he fed the people. He really did. I mean, it was miraculous, the loaves and the fishes. And Donald Trump, I don't know if you've noticed, those of you who only watch ABC, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, the mainstream media, if you read only the New York Times or USA Today, you're not even aware that the American economy is going to take off. There was an amazing tax reform bill passed at the end of last year. And regulations are being cut. Listen to this. Trump has quietly cut many government regulations that have made it impossible for people to do business. Nobody wants to start a new business because it's too hard, because there's too many rules, too many regulations, too many stupid rules you have to follow in order not to harm the three-toed sloth or the four-eyed newt or the six-tailed lemming or whatever it is, environmentally. So Trump pulled us out of the Paris Climate Accord, which was great because it was a punitive system, punitive laws against the United States, let all other countries skate like China. Well, we'll eventually make China conform to the accord, but the United States, and I don't know if you noticed this either, but the previous president, Obama, he wanted to take the U.S. down, to level it, to wreck the economy, purposely to bring us to the level of the rest of the world, because he was the puppet of the obviously evil New World Order. I'm going to get to that, but back to these regulations. If you want to juice the economy, if you want to juice free enterprise, you get rid of restrictive, burdensome laws that are stupid. Not good ones, but stupid ones. And didn't Jesus Christ do this when he was on earth? He did. Because the Pharisees, not only, they didn't adhere to God's law, but they invented a bunch of other laws that made life restrictive. And they didn't do them, but they wanted the other people to do them. People in government that wanted Obamacare, they weren't going to be under Obamacare. Do you think the senators and the representatives in Washington, do you think they were going to be under the same restrictive health care program that they were pushing on other people? No, it's not how it works in either a socialistic or a communistic society. You have the ruling class, and then you have the rest. And that's exactly the situation in Israel. They have the ruling class, and they had the rest. And everything was fine. The system was in place. They built this giant monstrosity for the ruling class, and then this hillbilly from Nazareth came and screwed everything up, and the people flocked to him because here was a man who told things how they were, and he's giving us the truth. I'm not saying Donald Trump is spiritual or giving people the truth. I'm drawing an analogy of an outsider coming in. To say that Trump is part of the inside club is like saying that Jesus Christ was a Pharisee. It's that stupid. It really is that stupid. He's the anti-club, the anti-establishment. Because Jesus Christ could do quite well without the system. He didn't need the system. He wasn't a Pharisee. God was his father. Trump's father is his organization. He didn't need to become president of the United States. He was doing very well. Thank you very much. Didn't need it. And the beauty of Trump was that he didn't require lobbyists. He didn't have to sell his soul to raise money for his campaign. He financed it himself because he's a freaking billionaire. It's a beautiful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to embark on an era of American exceptionalism. I, for one, am happy about it. Do I know where it's going to lead? Oh, of course I do. Yeah, I know where it's going to lead, and I'm going to tell you where it's going to lead. Now, you may not know this. You probably do. I predicted many years ago a conservative takeover. When I say conservative, look, I'm not talking about a political agenda. I'm talking about common sense. Like, if a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat. I know many of you are going to get mad at me for saying that because I know there are disabled people that deserve help from the government. There are people who can't work, who need help from the government, yes. But the general principle is if you don't work, neither shall you eat. And that's good for people. That's good for people. People get mad at conservatives. You hate people. You don't want people to be well. You don't want people to eat. No, conservatives measure compassion not by how many people are on food stamps, but by how many people they can get off of food stamps to walk into their rightful place as a productive human being. This is the longing of every human being. But if you keep getting stuff for free, it idles you. It destroys you. It destroys your get up and go. It got up and went. Oh, and the Pharisees and the U.S. government, this giant bureaucracy, deep down, doesn't really want the people to have plenty. They don't want anyone to find out that they're not needed. They don't want anybody to find out that the government is bloated, that it's ineffective, that it's stupid, things cost too much, the government is a waste. So here comes Trump. He's cutting programs, cutting waste, and they're freaking out because he's dismantling their precious monstrosity. Some call it the swamp. You can call it a swamp monstrosity. And the last thing the swamp people want is for you to figure out that you can live without them quite well and that they're unnecessary. This is why the liberals need victims. This is why they like illegal immigration, because they want people who need them. Please give me my food stamps. Please give me my government assistance. Please buy me my car. Please educate me. Please give me free healthcare. They want victims. They want people who can't do anything for themselves. The last thing, like Obama wanted, was for the economy to take off, for individuals to start working, for regulations to go away so that people can be enterprising and free, because then the more free you are, the less you need the federal government, and the less you need the federal government. You would think that would be great. Just like organized religion today, you would think it would be great when somebody comes up to a pastor or a priest and says, you know what? I'm really feeling great spiritually, and I'm off this crutch. I really don't need this anymore. All I need is Christ, so I'm leaving. I'm leaving this man-made building and this man-made structure. If any pastor or priest was worth his salt, he would say, good, go my child, be free. That was my job, to give you legs, to teach you to fish. Now get the hell out of here. Pursue your own spiritual course. But they don't. Oh no, you need us, you need us, you need us. Please need us, please need us. We need victims. Are things going well for you? That's too bad. I want to make sure things go badly for you so that you need me to give you the handout, so that you will vote for me, so that I will stay in power because I like being in power. Why? I'm a career politician and I like getting free haircuts and free health care. I like driving around in limos. I like walking into a giant marble building. This is exactly what the Pharisees said. We like driving into a giant marble building. Makes us feel important. Oh, the giant, the ceiling so freaking high in these buildings. You got to feel good about that when you get in there. What's this, a high ceiling? Oh, God. My ceiling's very low here. I don't know if you can tell. I'll just show you. Can you see the ceiling up here? There, it's right above my head. But I like it that way. It keeps me humble. If Juliana ever said, Martin, we're going to raise your ceiling. No, please don't. I will be corrupted. I'll become corrupted. Don't do it, please. Don't raise my ceiling. Keep it where it is. I'm loving it. So, see, I used to think that for the one world order to come, The United States would have to be leveled. The United States would have to be brought down to the level of every other country. That there couldn't be any more of this American exceptionalism. And I could see that Obama was dismantling the country. If anybody voted for Obama thinking he was going to bring hope and change, that was so much bullshit. In case you don't realize that, hopefully you realize it now. The economy never grew under Obama. It wasn't meant to. No, it was meant to be decimated. Obama purposely put things into place that would not grow the economy because, again, he didn't want American exceptionalism. He went around apologizing for America, kissing foreign leaders' asses to apologize for our great country. I'm sorry our country's so great. I'm sorry you feel so bad. I'm sorry. It was not my fault. And so Trump's like, America first. America's great again. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. I actually do. So the surprise for me was not that there would be this conservative. And when I say conservative, I'm not talking about a political agenda. I'm talking about an ideology. I'm talking about small government. I'm talking about free enterprise. I'm talking about leaving people the hell alone to pursue their dreams and let them keep their freaking money and get the hell out of their way and lower your goddamn ceilings and serve 4 years and get the hell out of DC. That's what I'm talking about. So for a while there, I thought, oh shit, well, America's going to come down and it's going to be a new, but the conservatives are somehow going to take over this ideology that puts God in it. And for some reason, conservatism is tied in with God. And this is why liberals hate it, because liberals are generally godless. Let me be fair. They're generally godless. I'll give them this credit, is that they hate religious hypocrisy. And we know that mainstream religion is nothing but hypocrisy. And mainstream religion has tied itself to conservatism. And so I think that the gut reaction is not only against the political agenda of individuals being strong, of the country being strong, but it's against this Christian God who is forcefully attached by the conservative agenda to its agenda. I'm not sure why that is, except God set it up that way. So I thought America was going to be leveled, and then this evil one world government would be aligned with it, and that there would be a great Western leader who was of a conservative nature who would bring God into it. With Trump, I see this. With Trump, I see now that this thing is coming through American exceptionalism. This thing is coming through a revived USA, a revived economy, revived business. I've predicted gasoline will be $1 a gallon because we're drilling now in Alaska and off our shores. Businesses are coming back because Trump has lowered the corporate tax rate. Who can cry about this? Oh no, my taxes are going to be lower. My personal income tax is going to go from, I'm going to save $2,000 a year. That's terrible. My deductible for my children just from $1,000 to $2,000. This is terrible. Oh, my business was being taxed at 38%. Now it's only being taxed at 21%. More companies are coming to America and they're hiring more people. What's not to like about this? Are you crazy out there who think this is a bad thing? Of course, what we're dealing with here is the Trump derangement syndrome. I understand that. It's just like the Jesus Christ derangement syndrome. Same thing. Jesus Christ was a nice guy. He said some crazy things. Eat my body, drink my blood. Other than that, he was a nice guy, but people hated him without a cause. And Paul said they hated me without a cause. No, Jesus said that. But it was the same thing with Paul. They hate Trump without a cause. So he talks crazy once in a while. He's a ruffian. He's a pig. Well, he's rude or whatever. He doesn't know which fork to eat his salad with. I don't know. So what? The guy's like a pragmatist. He's just taking care of business. He's a populist. And this needs done. Boom, boom, boom. This is how he did it in business. He can't understand why things take 5 years to happen. To him, it should happen in 5 minutes. We're going to get this done, and we're going to do it. And the thing is, in spite of all the resistance to Trump derangement syndrome, ask people why they hate Trump. They don't know why they hate Trump. They're just supposed to hate Trump. Just like Jesus Christ. Why do you hate Jesus Christ? I don't know. I'm just Supposed to. That's what the people of the first century said. Now Jesus Christ is great. He's a celebrity. Ooh, Trump's going to be that way in about 50 years, if the Lord should tarry. Trump's going to be looked upon as a great president. But now, it's like Abraham Lincoln, same thing. He was a dolt from Kentucky, the rail splitter. Everybody thought Abraham Lincoln was a doofus. He was tall. Talk with a draw like this. 47 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, dedicated to the conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Stupid rail splitter. They thought he was a dumb, but now they have a giant building built in his honor with very high ceilings in, of all places, Washington, D.C. But Lincoln hated the trappings of power. His wife, Mary Todd, loved it. Trump, you say Trump likes to trap. I think he likes trappings, period, not of power, because he's not a politician. We in the United States got sick of politicians, and so we elected a businessman. It makes total sense to me and to many of you. But anyway, so now I see, I'm going to end the show fairly quickly. So now I see that the wild beast, the one world government, is going to come from American exceptionalism, and it's going to overcome the obvious one world government. The obvious one world order is like so evil, headed by George Soros and all these international conclaves or enclaves or autoclaves, and it's so obviously evil, but it's just ridiculously evil. And Hillary Clinton's part of it. People who voted for Hillary Clinton, oh my God, you're going to find out that you wanted a criminal. You wanted a really, really diabolical person to be in office, and it's all going to come out this year. But I thought that was going to be the takeover, but it's the obvious evil. So American exceptionalism is going to be great in the interim because it's all going to make sense. It's all going to be common sense. It's all going to be great. Even the elect will be deceived, remember? So I'm the elect. You're the elect. So I'm loving this whole thing. I'm ready to see America do well. I want to pay $1 a gallon for gas, only $1. Who doesn't? Yeah, I want wages to go up, prices to go down, more people to be working, more people with disposable income. Who doesn't want that? But this thing that's wonderful, that overcomes the obvious evil, because the obvious evil, Hollywood, George Soros, the Democratic Party, the Clintons, it's all a cauldron of evil, and it's all going down. And Trump is the white horse rider who's going to take it all down, and everything's going to be rosy. So wait a minute, Martin, does this mean that you think Donald Trump could possibly be the Antichrist? Oh, hell yes! Which is so funny because I'm talking up Trump and everybody's going, oh, Trump's a pig, he's ugly. Then all of a sudden things are going to go great. I mean, they're already going great. Stock market up, unemployment down, jobs up. People are going to finally see it, and they're going to go, Zender, you were right. You were right. Trump's the greatest president since George Washington. I'm going to say, what the hell are you talking about? He's the Antichrist.